guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Hot Toys MMS 299 of the Iron Legion from Avengers Age of Ultron. Now initially, I was really on the fence about picking this figure up. As all of you know, I am a huge Iron Man fan, and this really isn't Iron Man. So I was kind of torn on picking this guy up. Now ultimately, as you can see, I obviously did get him. And the deciding factor was that this is really kind of like the beginnings of Ultron. And I'll get into more of that later on. But for the package, it is very similar to all the other Avenger Age of Ultron figures. You got the nice image right here. You got the A right there. You got the Avengers Age of Ultron text in the nice chrome foil. The top section here says Iron Legion there on that side. On that side, you have the logo, which in this case is just the side of the head. So that's really all that is. On the back here, you have the various warnings and contact information. It is a bit of a slip cover just like that. And then you have the cast and crew responsible for making them. And then around on the other side, you have the window that allows you to see the figure and all of his accessories, which admittedly isn't a heck of a lot. And that was one of the other things that I was kind of on the fence about. This guy doesn't really come with a ton of stuff, and this is definitely a figure that I could see some people potentially wanting to troop build, but we'll get into all that here in just a little bit. So for the packaging, that is what you have for it. And now without further ado, let's get this guy out here and see how cool he actually is. So here we have the Iron Legion open up and out of its packaging. Now I really shouldn't say it's an Iron Legion because a Legion would mean there's a bunch of them. It's just one Legionnaire, I suppose. But regardless of how you refer to him, he's actually really very cool. Now, the Iron Legion in Avengers Age of Ultron was meant to replace kind of the House Party Protocol. I mean, that was kind of Iron Man's way of being able to be in different places at different times when he himself couldn't be there. And much like the House Party Protocol, the Iron Legion here were controlled by Jarvis, which is kind of a precursor in terms of the programming to what Tony Stark envisioned Ultron being. So it just kind of made sense that this kind of phased into Ultron. Now for the figure, unfortunately you don't really get a lot of stuff. Now, there are a few things that I think that it could have included, but we'll get into that. Up first, you do get the Avengers Age of Ultron base. It is a standard kind of a base that we're getting nowadays. You can see you got the Iron Legion there. You got the adjustable cradle with the little section right here that slides up and down. In terms of extra hands, he doesn't come with much. He's got a pair of articulated hands that are currently on him, and then he has a right and left pair that are angled kind of in the repulsor blast like we've seen many times with Iron Man. The detail on here though is really very nice. Coming here to take a look, I mean, I'm really quite impressed with how the weathering was applied to this. It was very, very nice. I mean, you can see a lot of dirt on there, a lot of scratches and things of that nature. You can see that on the hands he does have number 3 marked, which is significant, which we'll get into. And you can even see that while these aren't articulated, the joints are kind of recreated there. They don't move or anything, but they are very similar to what the actual articulated hands are. So I mean, that's really nice. I really like how they did that. But these are the only hands that you get, so you only get 2 pairs of hands. You do get both a right and left forearm mounted missile pack, I guess. One is obviously right, one is obviously left. As you can see, you got the 3 on here, and the actual hands or the arms on here have that, so you can tell that this is the right one, whereas this is the left. I don't think it really matters how you plug them in. It's just if you wanted to keep kind of that same look, the 3 is on that side, so naturally you would use that to kind of simulate that popping out, and then you would use this one for the left arm. But that's it for his accessories, and that's really very unfortunate. Now, I do kind of wish there was one part that he really did come with. Well, I guess you could say he's got a section right here that can detach. I guess you could say that that's an accessory. We'll highlight that here in better detail here in a minute. But one thing that I really would have liked, in finding those little slots is not easy to do, is if he actually came with his battle mask. Now, when I say battle mask, I mean the damage face shield. Now, this particular version, in terms of Iron Legion action figures is number 3. And number 3 is the one that had, you know, that bottle thrown on his face in the film, and it started kind of a reaction with the electronics and stuff, and it kind of started this on fire and everything. And the face that number 3 ended up having is the face that ultimately was used on, you know, the first incarnation, I guess you would say, of Ultron. The one that, you know, the no strings on me version. Now, in terms of was this the full body that was used to create that, I'm not 100% certain. When you go back and watch the movie, there were a lot of parts that were laying in the basement floor, basically, that when Ultron became self-aware, he was taking different parts and created that hodgepodge of a body. Some of them were from the damaged number 3 droid. So I think that's primarily why they chose to go with this, because it's like this is what eventually would have become Ultron. And if not, that's what I'm going with. It sounds pretty good anyhow. But overall, this figure really does look very, very nice. Getting these extra pieces out of the way. Like I said, the only thing I really wish it came with would be that mask that you could like swap out and you could put that on there. Maybe even having, like I was showing here, this whole section comes off. Well, if you had a little bit more battle damaged on there or anything. This is a very clean looking droid, which is perfectly fine. I just, if you're going to be, you know, going all out with these figures, you should include as many accessories, I guess, as you can, especially for the price on these. But I'm really very impressed with what Hot Toys was able to do with this. I mean, the detail on here really is spectacular. So coming in, starting up first here with the head area, you can see great detail on the actual mask itself. You can see some amazing detail with the wiring on his actual neck. You come around here to the back and you can see the various components, almost like there's a little hook thing right here. To activate the lights for this, you just pull this section up. One thing that's interesting is on this particular figure, they've done away with the screws in terms of replacing the batteries, and I'm just gonna flip this on with this, but you can see you put that on there. Great detail for the actual eyes. I don't know how well that's not gonna come across, or maybe if I turn the lights out, but there's some great texturing in those eyes. I don't know how well that's going to come across. It's very difficult to see, but great detail with that. And it is interesting that they chose to just like snap-on sort of battery compartments. That's not something that they've done before, and I don't think it's something that they've continued on with. I have seen the images of some other Iron Man figures. I think most recently is the shotgun that's coming out, and that doesn't have it. It still has the screws. So it's curious to see why they actually did it with that. But again, coming down here, and I might as well take this off, you can see some real nice detail for his chest piece. Again, you come around here to actually activate those batteries. You use your fingernail, you pull this little switch, and you have the nice arc reactor right on the inside there. So you still have all those light functions and everything. And again, you got the just clip-on sort of battery compartment here in the back. So I like that. I mean, it makes it real easy to swap out those pieces. I don't know why they wouldn't continue it on. So putting this back on there, so real, very nice detail on there. But again, on the outer section, you see the number 3, you got the Avenger, and then you can see some nice battle marks throughout there. Very subtle, and like I said, it kind of gives it a clean kind of look, but in general looks really nice. You come around here to the arm, again, great detail. Moving this out of the way, you can see some nice heavily detailed parts on the inside there as well. The arms though look really very cool how they were actually designed. And then with these pieces, you will pop this off. Again, these are just kind of frictioned on there, and then you take the little missile pod and you got a little tab right here, and then you just put that, you line that up, maybe if you can, there you go, and now you can have a missile kind of section right there. To activate the lights for this, you take this off, this section comes off, and then you got the switch right here. You flip that on, and then you have the light up hand. And then again, if you wanted to put the repulsor, you put that on there, and it's on more of an angle. This doesn't really angle that much. It is on a ball joint, so you can flex that around, but you don't get a full range of motion with it. So putting that off, we'll take a look at that in more lit up detail here in a minute. So put that, oh no, it goes like that. There you go, put that on there. But again, great detail coming down to the torso. This whole section down here though is all rubber, even these little side pieces. I don't know necessarily how I feel about that. Because it's white paint, I don't imagine it fading. They were doing some problems previously, but you can see that there is some flex in this. Previously, Iron Man figures had a lot of problems with the paint fading on it. I really don't think that that's something that is prevalent anymore. It seems like they got a pretty good grip on it, and it just still kind of leaves me with a little bit of worry, I guess, over time, the actual durability of that. So hopefully that's something that is kind of corrected. Now coming down here to the thighs, you can see again real nice detail with the paint and the scratches and things of that nature. You come around here to the back, again a lot of these number 3 marks on there just so that you don't forget who he is. You come down here to the knee, again great detail with that. A lot of it is stuff that we've seen in a lot of Iron Man figures, and then you come down here to the feet and everything looks absolutely terrific. So the amount of detail on this really is quite stunning. And again, if you want to swap out the hands, you just take this. This is on a ball section, much like all the other ones, and then you put that in like that, and then you can have him doing a little blast or something of that nature. So really very cool with that as well. The one thing that really does kind of surprise me with this is it's a very simple figure. I mean, it's not designed to have a body underneath it, but they still did it in a way where all the articulation is still basically there. You can see that the head gets a real nice range of motion. You can kind of tilt it side to side, looks left, looks right, up, down, all that is there. The shoulders here actually can move. If you move that out, you can move these very nicely. I mean, the primary section here has a ball joint, so you get a nice range of motion there, and then you have that swivel right there, so you can get a full range of motion basically with that. Rotates all the way around very nicely, rotates at the upper part of the bicep. He's got 2 joints here at the elbow, but you don't really get much more than a 90-degree bend. You can see that it moves down there, and then another joint right there. But real good detail still as you do it. I love how when you bring it up, things fill in. I mean, that looks really very cool. The wrists here, they do rotate. They're on ball joints, so you get a nice range of motion there. All the fingers, this kind of pops off every now and then. Get that on there. The fingers here are all individually articulated, so you got a primary ball joint at the thumb, and then each joint at the actual thumb does have an articulation point, which is really nice. Same with the fingers, but you can see that they are very robotic looking. I mean, they're very straight, as you would kind of expect on a just android kind of body, but real nice detail there. Now when you come down to the waist section, you get this upper section right that does pivot around, and then you can see when you come around here to the back, this section right here actually flexes. Let me see if I can bring that up a little bit. I'm going to use a little piece of, no, I don't want to, well, I'm not going to use that, but this section right here, I mean, you can kind of see it. This back section does flex just to give him a full range to kind of make him look like he's flying. So you can do something like that, and that looks a little bit ugly, so keep it like so, and you can get his head up there and make it look like he's flying around. So they really did a nice job with that articulation joint in the waist. So you do have that, and then you have the lower waist right there, which has a very deep flex on the actual ball joint. The hips here, they can extend out, and then you can rotate them around a little bit. They're on the ball joint right in there, but rotating it down allows you to bring it back forward and back just like so. Keeping it up, you get a more limited range of motion, and it rubs along the little rubber section here, so you do want to be careful. It rotates at the upper part of the thigh, as you could see before. He's got 2 bends here nicely at the knee. Bring this back up, and then the ankles, looking at this one, can actually flex down a little, not much. You can barely see it. See there? I mean, that's not much, but you can do it to create more of a dynamic pose in the ankle, moving forward and back. When you have it up there, it doesn't get as much, but you can get a deeper range of motion if you extend that ankle out. So all that articulation that you would expect on an Iron Man figure is on this, and it really does come out looking very good. I'm really quite surprised at how amazing this is. Now, like I said, the biggest downfall on this figure, I think, are the lack of accessories. Now, I don't really know what you could give them other than maybe a more battle damaged chest piece and obviously a battle damaged mask. One thing that I do kind of wish that they would have also have given you, I know a lot of people in the collecting community are very iffy when it comes to stickers, but I really wish that there was, much like they did with the Hall of Armor set, where they gave you the ability to put different images on there to replicate different suits that would be in it. I wish they would have given you stickers to be able to put on here to denote that maybe this is number 3, or maybe you don't want to have number 3 all the time. Maybe you wanted to have, like, say, I think there were 5 or 6 of them. So you could buy 5 or 6 of these figures, and you could put different stickers on and have 1 through 5. I wish that they would have done that. In terms of troop building, I definitely think that this is one that people could troop build, but why do you want to have 5 of number 3? So I think in this case, stickers would have come in pretty handy. Overall, though, I really do like the figure. Like I said, I was on the fence about this, but I think that he turned out terrific. It is, you know, kind of like one of the Chitauri soldiers, where it doesn't make sense to really have one. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm torn on buying other ones because, like I said, at least with the Chitauri soldiers, you could kind of make them look a little bit different. These ones, you can't really make all that different looking because this thing is littered with number 3 tampos all over it. So, I don't know. I love them. I think that he turned out great. I just wish there was more of a way to get more of them and have them be a little bit more diverse. In general, though, very happy with how this turned out, despite the fact, like I said, I really didn't think I was going to be on board with him that much. It just kind of seemed like an unnecessary character to have. But I got on board because, as I talked about, this is kind of like the first, I guess, iteration of Ultron. I do wish that he came with a few extra accessories, like I said, maybe a battle-damaged chest piece as well as faceplate. That would have helped things a little bit more, and then it would have been nice to get some sticker detail that you could kind of get a couple of these and sort of diversify it and make more of a whole Legion kind of thing. Ultimately, I think the figure still turned out great. The look on it is spectacular. The articulation on it is really well done. And once again, I just feel that Hot Toys nailed the actual look for this particular character. So all that being said, if you're interested in picking up your Iron Legion, he is available right now at Sideshow Collectibles. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to Sideshow where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the Hot Toys Iron Man figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget to please like and comment, and be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you never miss a future review. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.